Greetings, students. In this video, we're going to discuss two important concepts in psychology: reinforcement and punishment. Both these fall under the topic of learning, and they're both important to understand operant conditioning. So let's talk about each term first, and then we'll get into the details. Reinforcement is when you're trying to increase the frequency of a desirable behavior. You want to see a certain behavior happen more often. On the other hand, punishment aims to decrease the frequency of an undesirable behavior. So you're trying to see a certain behavior occur less often. Now, it gets a little tricky sometimes when you throw in the terms positive and negative. An easy way to remember how positive and negative affect learning in psychology is to think of it like math. When you see the term positive, you know that we're adding something. There's going to be the addition of something. And when you see the term negative, you know that there's going to be the removal of something. So let's look at it in detail. We'll start with positive reinforcement. When you have positive reinforcement, you want to add something to increase the likelihood of behavior. What's a good example? Pretend that your parents provide you with $5 for each A you receive on your report card. And so you come home with 3 A's and 2 B's. Thus you get $15 when you could have gotten $25. Because you were positively reinforced with the addition of money for receiving an A, you're more likely to work harder and try to get A's in the future so you can receive more money. That's an example of positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is a little bit tricky, and it's often confused with punishment, but it is not, because remember, reinforcement increases the frequency that a desired behavior occurs. So what's the most common example here? Having a headache. In negative reinforcement, there's some type of aversive stimuli that you're trying to remove. That's where you get negative. So in the example of having a headache, the aversive stimuli is the headache. So what you do is you take an aspirin to remove that headache, and in the future, when you have a headache, you're more prone to take an aspirin more quickly because you know that it removed the headache. So in negative reinforcement, you're removing something to increase the likelihood of behavior. Punishment, again, is going to reduce the frequency of a behavior. Let's look at positive punishment. In positive punishment, something is added to decrease the likelihood of a behavior. Let's say, for example, you miss curfew on Friday night, and as a result, your parents ground you for 2 weeks. Being grounded is the addition of something not desirable to decrease an undesired behavior, and the undesired behavior being late for curfew. You can also use negative punishment in a similar manner. Again, remember, with negative, you are removing a stimulus. So in this case, it being punishment, something is removed to decrease the likelihood of behavior. We'll use the same example. Say you miss curfew. As a result, your parents take away your phone for 2 weeks. The removal of a pleasant stimulus, your phone, is going to decrease that behavior of missing curfew. I hope this short video helped to explain these concepts. Please review them and think of any questions you may have before our next synchronous session. Write those down and bring those to the session and we can discuss more.